safe to assume that you start with a basic assessment, and then from there you start to layer in the various steps or procedures that may align with a long-term roadmap?
Absolutely, because after the vulnerability assessment, we will immediately meet with you and whoever you decide, and we will talk about everything that we found. And we won't fix, change, or modify anything. We're just going to say, here's what we found. And then from that, we can talk about the overall, from the response, assessment, how do you, your cybersecurity response plan, how to go in and actually do penetration testing to see how long it would take for somebody to get in and be malicious in your environment. I read an article not too long ago that said, like the Russian team of hackers can break into your network in 18 minutes. That's all it takes, 18 minutes. And most intrusion detection and intrusion prevention protocols and firewalls are, for the most part, obsolete to a seasoned hacker. And it is multi-factor authentication and encryption that are really the things that seem to slow them down. And the reason I'm restating some of these things is because, as you were talking about, what are the next steps? How do we make sure after the vulnerability scan? These are the things we're going to be looking for, and to tell you about how many 3% of every business's files, 3% are encrypted. That's 90%, obviously 97% wide open. So why only 3%? Because usually somebody has thought that these were the most critical, and everything else is, it's not that bad. It's not the case. You should encrypt everything. There should be a complicated password for everything, and it should be changed routinely. And you asked me a question before, like, when should you have an assessment? If you had an assessment every year, which I think is the best, if in the middle of the year you also had a significant environment change, whether it was hardware, software, anything, it's time to have you don't have to do the whole thing. Call us up. We'll just do that little section and make sure it complies with everything else. And then update the date on your certification, right? So if somebody says, hey, what have I connected to this? How do I know this is safe and secure? Well, you have the addendum on top of that shows that you've done due diligence. So I think that's important. I think people need to see that you put in the effort and not just, cross your fingers and hope for the best.